Today, I will show you how to insert data in database using Laravel. So for doing this, we have to follow following the steps here I written. First, we have to create routes. If you have already uh, installed the Laravel project folder in your machine, after that you have to create routes, create controllers, create models. In the older version you can't find the model folder, so keep the model file under the http folder. After that you have to create views, and after that you have to create a migrations file and you have to migrate it using the following command. The first command is showing you to how to create a migrations, and in the second command is showing how to migrate your table into the database. For creating a controller and model, we will use a shortcut command here. This is, we have to run this command on terminal. So we will use the make php artisan make command here. Using controller, we just return the controller name, after that the flag and the model name. After that, for validations we will use these two packages which is coming from the Laravel, the validators and the rules. Okay, and here in the Laravel 8 currently we are using. So we didn't find the namespace, so due to that many times you will face the controller not found error. So for resolving that one, we have to go here and we have to add the namespace or uncomment it. I will show you one by one so you will get a point very clearly. So first, in our first steps, we have to create our routes. So as per our websites, here I came here, the web folder is located here in the routes. The routes is here. This is the main folder, app folder. Inside the database folder, the resource folder, and here is the route folder. So this is all the database, this is all the folders we got after installations of the Laravel project. So inside the roots we found web.php. Inside that we just import this one. This is already imported, so we just written the routes here. In the new package we have two methods to write the routes. The first older methods, we just written the name, the route name, and just here written the controller name at the rate and the method name. And after that we use name functions to give the name of that routes. And in the new version we have to import a controller and use this kind of route. So here in the array bracket we written the controller name, after that this scope resolutions operators, and written the class keyword, comma, in the single quote we will write the method name. This is a new structure, new syntax, but I prefer the old one because for the new one you have to always give the complete path, absolute path you have to give in here. This is very tedious. I means we would not like to give this more length of line here. So for that, but if you want to use this kind of name, you have to put the namespace here. The root service provider, it is located here, the provider app providers, here the root provide service provider. You have to come here and search this namespace variable. If you found it will be there in the project folder. It will be uncommented. It will be commented, so just uncomment it. If you not found, add this line here, because this namespace is using here in the route, so automatically this path append in here. So we haven't import it manually. So you got, I think you got the point what's happening here. So we created here the routes. After that we have to create controller. So for create controller we will use this command. I already created this controller here, you can see. yeah, student insert controller we I already created, but I will show you this command. So 1 minute, I am just copying this command and put some other controller names, so you will got the point how this is created. So I just copy, I come to the terminal, I put it here, and due to student insert, just I put suppose client insert, and I also change, here this name, client name. You can see right now here in the project folder, in the controller only controller.php and student insert controller.php. Now I am going to hit this command here, okay, and I will get this client insert model and client insert controller in controller folder. So this will ask, this model is not found, this means this model doesn't exist, so do you want to generate it? Just written yes and press enter. So now the model created successfully, controller created successfully. So when I will back here in the project folder, we can see the client folder is client insert controller is here, and in the model the client insert model is here with the default codes. So here the client insert model extend from model, and here the already the four default method: insert, create, store, show, edit, update, and destroy. These 4 5 methods is already created, and you can see here the model is already imported. So we have not imported manually for that particular one. So I already created here the models, so I will just go through that and just show you how we can, what we can write in the controller and in the view. So as per our steps: create controller done, create model done. Now we have to create view. So before moving to view, we just written few codes here uh, in this controller. So here I already show you, we will validate form. So we are using these two validators and rules. After that, already this model is imported here, and after that we just come here in the index method, just return one view. So this is the view, this is the folder name, and inside this is the file name. So we have to add student folder under view. Inside a student folder we have to add a file, add.blade.php. I already done it here, so I will just show you. Under resource views, here you can see the student folder is there, and inside the student this add.blade.php is there. Forget about these two file, I am just removing this, this is not required here. So this file, okay, so this is the complete html file. I will tell you about this, what is the written here, but come to here first in the controller. So these functions will return the html files, and for storing, this is the default one functions we are using for store. You can see also in the path. For create, I am using here the store function, and for rendering the form on insert route, we are using index function. So here in the index functions, we are just returning the file html forms, and on the store method we are storing the records into the database. So just discussed about this one first. So here we just use the built-in Laravel syntax for validating the form. So actually in our form, I just show you the form in the browser. So this is the form. Here you can see first name, last name, email, city. City is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai. So here we are going to validate first name, city name, email. The first name should be required string minimum 3, maximum 255. The city name is like that, and email is here required. Required means this field is mandatory. You can't left it blank. A string, the type of this field is a string. This is the email means it is in the proper format. Maximum is 255, and this is unique on users. Actually this will not on users because our table name is something else, so we will just change it, no problem, but this will be a unique. Okay, and after that we will use a validator class. Here we already imported here, see the validator class, and here using the make functions we just pass all the request whatever we are getting here in the request object and these rules. So it will return an object, and on that we use the false functions on that object. If this return true means we got error, we got some validations error, and we just returning on the same page with inputs and with errors. This error is here in this validator. Okay, if we not get any error, so this code will come here, we get all the data here, we just create an instance. This is the model class name we saw, we already inserted here. So here this is the class name, we got here the instance using the new operator, and after that the first name is one column, second last name is one column, city and email. We just insert the proper data here, and in the last line we just use the save functions of that instance. So this command only save this information into our database, our table, and finally we return with the insert page with the message insert successfully. If we found any error inserting in the database, we just catch it and redirect with the failed operations, right? If suppose at the time of inserting database is not connecting or database server is down, on that time is this catch will return, right? So this is very pretty cool. After that this all functions are blank here right now. So now the I want to show you the model file. This is a very small file. Here this is already imported, so you don't worry about that. This the hash factory and the model. Actually this hash factory is not required here, but okay, it's already imported and the model is here. So this class is using here for extending our class. And here if your table name is like as your class name means what, suppose you have a user model and your table name is users, so this line is not required. Okay, this line is not required when, listen carefully, when your model name is user and your table name is users means when you are going to create a model you use the name users, and when you are going to create a migration, on that time you use users in the small letter. You don't need to use this line because this Laravel automatically looking for this name. If your table name is something else with this pattern, then only you have to use this line. Here we are forcefully telling this model our table is this, right? After that we are using the timestamps means created that and updated that. So this is for this one, and this is the feasible columns which will import rapidly, which will where in this column in the bulk of data we can insert. So we just redefine here because this variables and this variable is already defined in the Laravel. So we just overwrite here and we just mention the name, column name, which will where the data will inserted in batch or in inserted multiple data simultaneously. If we don't write like that, so we will insert one data at one time, right? So this is all about the model, there is nothing more. Okay, so I just save it here. So this controller, this model is done. Now we have to come on here for the view part. So here I just put one layout for our just looking good, and for our examples, because we will do here a few more examples, so it will help us. So here this is the pure java html files, and here I import here see we can use the config functions to check if the environment variable, if the config have app for app, here we can see it here. And just I am showing you in the config folder you will get app. In the config folder you will get app. There it is. Okay, the you will here you can call an app dot name is defined, then it will take this one, otherwise take this one. Let me check where it is written. So config app folder is here. See, the name is here Laravel. This name is taking from the environment file. So where is the environment file? Environment file is here. So here the app name is Laravel. If we change here something Laravel 1, it will take Laravel 1. Or if I put it here Laravel st Laravel, but we don't put here a space, keep it mind, we can't give the space here. Okay, so we just put it here the st laravel, just close it. Here this is name is coming here, and after that the name is coming here. If this will not found, it will take, right? So after that we just import a few libraries like bootstrap and jquery. Okay, you can come to here. Inside the body I define one div, inside one div I define one more div. Inside this div we just use the yield at the rate yield command or yield method to pass the name, because this we use in the next view here in the add dot blade. Okay, and we just close it this div and body and html. So this is our layout where we have a common header and footer we can say. And here in the add dot blade, see the very first line we are extends the layouts dot app. You can see the layouts dot app we just in just using here. So this code whatever in the sections content to endpoint content, this code automatically appends here. Just forget about this line, on all the codes from here to here automatically append in between this div to this closing div, right? So this is the purpose of using the at the rate of yield function, and here the extends, and after that this at the rate of section. So now this is a pretty simple form, so you can see, but few points I want to show here. This is very useful. The first point is session. Okay, because you can see I am putting here the session, right? When we are redirecting, so we are giving the with input and with header. So for listening these two we are using here, and also see the redirect with, this is the status success and status fail. So this is come in the session. So we are using here, I'm just closing this file, not required. So here the session status and session failed, right? So whenever our flow come here or and here, okay, so according to that if else, according to that if else this block will execute, right? So the very first time in the session this will not there, this will not there, so these two blocks will hide. Okay, after that we just create one form, and here I am using the url functions. Inside url we pass our endpoint, because you can see here in the web we just written the create route. So here in the form I just created I just written create url create routes, and after that we use some class and because this will give us our very pretty much HTML and looks. I will show you here. This is the at the dot of CSRF. This is very required because every time in the backend side, this validation, this token is validated. If you will not given, you will get the 419 error. After that, here we just using this class name div, here the level and input. So in this input you have to see it here. I am using one error for adding the class. If I got this error, I will add this class, okay. And here for the old functions, because I am returning with value. If I got error with input, so for listening this, I am adding old function with the same key name, whatever we given here in the name, in the name field, right, in the name attribute. And here in this error block, I will get the error in this message. So for looking good, I am using this thing. So this is very good. I will show you how the error message will show in the browser. And just copy and paste for the 4 times here the email, and here for the city. For the city, I am not going to show you anything because uh, there is no select option. So by default, one option will be selected, right? So now come to the browser. This is all about the things. So I hope you got this 4 5 point. Okay, create migrations command you didn't see, right? So I'm just going to create one migrations file, so you will get 1 point how to create migrations and how to migrate it, right? So I am coming here, just pasting it, just change the name. Okay, so client detail, this is our table name and this is our file name. Okay, this is our file name. I will show you 1 minute. Create, sorry, client details. Okay, 1 minute. For running this command, I will show you here in the migration, in the database folder, in the database folder, here the migration folder. So you can see the date time with the name. See here the student details I already created, so it's showing here. Right now I am going to create client details tables. Okay, so I am just entering it. Okay, this created, this file is created. For checking, see, it's coming here client detail. Right now this is not migrated. What is the meaning of migrated? Means this is not reflected in the database. See, this is my database. Here the student details I am using. If I refresh it, okay, if I come here and click it back, see here you can't find the client details. But once we run this command, which command? This command, php artisans migrate, okay, it will reflect in our database. So migration done means it will come here definitely. So okay, just refresh it once. Here, see, the client details now is coming here. Okay, I migrated it with empty columns. Okay, so you can see it in this client details. I am written nothing. So the default one was id. Okay, and the last field was date time, so it's taking like that, created and updated and the id, right? So we have to write the field name here, columns name here, right? Like I written here, see, the first name, last name maybe non-label, means this is optional field, so I put it here non-label method. And the city name may be null level. Okay, and the email should be unique, and this is the timestamp. So this is our table name. So in the op method we have to mention the fields like that, and then save it and then run the php artisans migrate command. So these all fields with these validations will be created in the database. You can see in the database table for this table. So the id is already, first name is not null, last name is may accept null, city name may accept null, email is a constant. Here you can see this is unique, okay, and this is also not null, created and updated is not null. So this is happening like that, right? So you got the point for the migration part. So now we test our app, whatever we written here for these two route insert and create, and these two functions for the index and store, and our model for this. So now come to our file and see, you can see it here, just updated the file. So first this change the st laravel, this st laravel is coming from the env file, and here the four fields you can see is coming. Right now I am going to click, hit the save button and see our validation is working or not. When I click here, so you can see this is coming very nice with the red, and also the message, proper message is coming here, the first name field is required. So this is by default given by our code which is written here under the controller. This validator is returning the message, okay. So this is looking very good. The last name is optional and city is also optional, because in the city already we are passing the value. So this is showing okay, there is no error, no problem, but this two field has problem. So now I am going to enter the value. So suppose the first value is john, john, last name is joe, the email id is john at the rate of gmail.com, and he is from Mumbai, and click on save method. So see, insert successfully. This is looking very cool, very good. We can cross it here and we will check it is going to insert to database or not. So see, it's coming here, John Dew, Mumbai, John at the date of with the time and date. This is taking up the UTC time, so it's showing here 13:58. So this is the way, and this is the code we will use to store the data in database using Laravel. So that's all for this tutorial. I will come with for new updates, and like edit, update, and how to insert data using ajax. Many times we will use, because ajax provide us without refresh we can insert in the database. So thank you for watching.